How would yes, you, the one listening or watching right now, how would you like to learn how to close any deal in just 4 minutes? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I am your host of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. My name is David Bradley, Senior Sales and Marketing Manager with Grant Cardone. Now, what do we do on the Cardone Solutions Podcast? Well, I like to go out into cyberspace. I mean, look, I work at Cardone Training Technologies, and 80, maybe even 85% of what we do over here is 100% free, okay? So I'm going to go out into cyberspace. I'm going to take this free content. This could be an email that Grant sent out, could be a blog post he's written, could be an article, maybe a tweet, something up on Instagram, or it could be a YouTube video. I'm going to take it, I'm going to break it down, I'm going to dissect it, I'm going to dive into it, I'm going to put my 2 cents on it. I'm going to give you some action ideas so that you can take this content and then go plug it into your sales and your business and your life. Now this week, this episode, man, we're going to go deep on a YouTube video that just came out, and I want to make sure we pull maximum value out of it so you know exactly what to do with it and then how to plug that into your sales, specifically phone sales. You ready for that? Okay, buckle up. Today's episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast is brought to you by and sponsored by Grant Cardone's Phone Skills and Communication Workshop. How would you like to work directly with Grant and his team to upgrade your sales process, figure out your scripts, and discover exactly what to do in order to pump your sales to record levels this year? The year is halfway through. How are you going to make sure that you pull it out? Okay, we've got tickets on sale right now. We're only letting in a very, very limited amount of people. This is a finite event, so it will sell out. You're going to get a certificate when it's done. We're going to show you exactly what to do to 10x your business, how to fully engage your team at new record levels, and this is going to be focused on strictly functioning on the phone and communication. If you would like to see a sample of the last one we did and how powerful this will be for you and your business, head on over to cardonesolutions.com/phone workshop. That's cardonesolutions.com/phone workshop. When you get there, you're going to see a video of Grant coaching a sales guy on how to work his cold call. Okay, and then you're going to get an opportunity to sign up for this event before it sells out. cardonesolutions.com/phone workshop. Okay, so today we're going to look at how to close any deal in 4 minutes. Now, there's a video that just came up on YouTube recently where Grant Cardone gets on the phone with one of our soon-to-be clients and helps him off the fence, okay? So do your prospects. Think about this for a second. You're in sales. You've got a business. You have people that give you money for either a service or a product that you provide, okay? That means you're in sales. So do they ever, your prospects, your buyers, do they ever want to wait? Do they ever want to have a little bit more time to make a decision? Do they need to think about it? Do they have uncertainty about making that decision? And would you like to see how Grant handles this? So I'm going to break this video down with you right now, like John Madden on a Sunday afternoon. Okay, so I said it again earlier. Buckle up. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Grant, as you know, has multiple 7-figure businesses. And with that being said, he is perfectly willing to, even now, pick up the phone, call a client, help close a deal, handle a situation that needs that GC touch. And he actually talks about this in his book, Sell or Be Sold. And I'll leave a note, or in the show notes, I'm going to leave a link so you can get signed, or you can get a copy of that book if you haven't read it. And if you have a copy of it and haven't read it lately, these fundamentals are things that are so crucial. I'm going to talk about some of the fundamentals in that book and how they're being applied in this video. But this particular call that Grant is doing is what we call a flip call or a second face call, meaning the initial salesperson has worked very, very hard to get the business. They haven't closed yet. So Grant is going to follow that up and just sort of be a second face on the call. So that's what he's doing in the video. So let's break this down. You ready? I'm going to give you a few different new phone sales rules. And phone sales rule number 1, speed is power. So when Grant gets on this call, after the initial pleasantries, which take all of 5 seconds, by the way, okay, you want to always open your call up with why you're calling. Grant gives him the why. He says, let me tell you why I'm calling. And then he gets permission to talk by asking for a limited and small amount of time. So if you remember from Sell It Be Sold, people who don't have time have money. And decision makers and key players, they're incredibly time sensitive. So when you get one on the line, you need to make sure that you acknowledge it, that they don't have time, and then let them know that this is going to be a short call, and then get straight to the point. So the 4 elements of opening a great sales call on the phone: 5-second greeting, get permission to talk, put a timestamp on it, and then state your reason for calling. Short 5-second greeting, permission to talk, timestamp, reason for the call. Okay. Now, if you're making a second phase call, the best question for the second phase call ever is, why didn't you buy our product? Which is literally the reason Grant says he's calling. I'm calling to find out why you didn't buy our product. So if you're a salesperson right now, or even a manager, business owner, okay, if you have not been able to close the deal, man, have somebody else take a shot. What do you got to lose at this point, right? So when you bring in that second phase, preferably somebody of status, like Grant, or a manager, or a senior salesperson, or anything, the best question to ask is, why didn't you buy? Why haven't you done the deal yet? Okay. This question literally cuts to the chase. It's respectful of the buyer's time, and it opens the door to a dialogue. Now, in this particular video, then the main reason that the buyer states he hasn't done the deal yet is that it's not the right time. He's waiting for a better time or the right time. Have you ever heard this from your buyers? I'm sure you have. Okay. So the buyer tells Grant that the timing is off. So Grant then opens up, he asks an open-ended question, which the purpose of the open-ended question is to open up, to get the buyer to talk about how they do see this going down. Not what we can't do, but what can you do? So let's talk about how they do see it happening. Okay. So Grant says, and what would that right time look like for you? So the buyer says, hey, it's not the right time. We can't do it right now. And Grant's like, okay, that's cool. What would that right time look like for you? And when you go watch this video, so if you head on over to cardonesolutions.com, it is the most recent blog post. I've got the full text of this podcast in there, but also you're going to see the actual video. So you can watch it, read along. You can bounce back and forth between my commentary and the actual video if you want to. That could be fun. But Grant then goes into the number 1 rule of selling, right out of Sell It Be Sold, which is always, always, always agree. It's clear that Grant practices what he preaches. The buyer says he wants to wait. He wants to start in September. Not only does Grant give him that, but he quickly and efficiently continues in with his fact finding by saying, hey, that's awesome. There's a lot happening for people right now. Totally agree with that. Let me ask you a question. When we get started in September, what do you hope that the product will do for you? Okay, so keep in mind, this call, as I mentioned earlier, could be considered a manager call or a second phase call, but at its core, it's still a sales call. And a sales call has steps. We've done the greeting, and now we are into fact finding. Follow? So Grant then primes the pump by listing off a few benefits of our program to sort of stimulate a response. Grant says, when we get started in September, what do you hope the product is going to do for you? And then he stimulates a response by saying, you want more sales, you want more money, you want to have a better organization. And then we get into phone sales rule number 2. Okay, let me just go back a second. Phone sales rule number 1 was what? Speed is power. Phone sales rule number 2 is to listen more than you talk. And Grant exemplifies this perfectly. Grant just listens. He asks a question and then he just listens. He's not thinking about what he's going to say next. He just listens. And then he acknowledges the buyer that he is listening, and he's even taken notes during this. The buyer gives pretty much, gives a pretty in-depth answer in terms of what's going on for him. And in it, he states that he wants his salespeople to close deals quicker. His biggest problem right now, his DBM or dominant buying motive, is that he'd like to take time out of his deals. This enables Grant to immediately respond with, the exact reason you're giving me is the number one objection that you're getting. So let's just take a moment. Let's just push pause on all this thing. And here's an action idea. Okay. I want you to think long and hard on this. What is your number one objection? What do you hear as a salesperson, as a business person, as a business owner? What is the number one objection that you hear that is tying up your deals? What is the main objection you're getting right now that is holding your deals up? Okay, here's the bitter truth. Here's the punch in the face. To some degree, you are in agreement with it, and you are most likely doing it in your own life. So if your buyers are taking too long to make a decision, it's because you take too long to make a decision. Are your buyers shopping the crap out of you and getting confused because they're too deep into the marketplace with too much information? Is that also how you shop and buy? To some degree, whatever objection you are getting, you are in agreement with it and you exhibit it in your own life. So you need to work that out. I need to work that out. We need to work that out. Or it's going to continue to be a problem. Sorry. Phone sales rule number 3, summarize and validate. So here's where we're at in the call. Grant then repeats back what he heard from the buyer so that the buyer knows he was listening. This is a crucial step in ethically building actual rapport. Let me just say that one more time. Think about this. This is a crucial step in ethically building actual rapport. There are no tricks. There's no gimmicks in this call. Grant is giving validity to what he got from the buyer to make sure that he understands what the DBM is, dominant buying motive, and then make sure the buyer knows he understands. And so from there, Grant transitions into another fact-finding question that attaches a quantifiable benefit or pain point to the DBM. Grant says this, quote unquote, let's say I generate more leads, we create a great culture, and we close more sales. Financially, what would you hope for this to do for you? Meaning, how much money would that quantify if I hit the top mark, 30%? So the 30% mark that he's referring to in that is with Cardone University. 15 to 30% increase in sales in the first 90 days on the program. That's our target. So when we bring on a client, that's what we're looking to do in the first 90 days. This brings us right over to phone sales rule number 4, which is do the math. Okay, help the buyer see that it is costing them more to not do it than it is to do it. Okay, so when I say do the math right here, is phone sales rule number 4, that means you got to help your buyer see that it's costing them more to not do it than it is to do it. How much does your product or service cost? Think about your business, think about you, think about what you're doing right now, okay? How much does your product or service cost you? And how can you take the benefits of your product or service out, take it all the way out to a point where not only is the value well beyond what you're asking, but it is actually more expensive for your buyer to wait or to add time or do something else. Okay. Phone sales rule number 5, ask for the business. So Grant then goes for the close, and he does this by saying, if I guaranteed we'd make you $1.6 million in the next 60 days, would you start today? The buyer goes, yeah. Okay. Grant then says, okay, great. I'm going to have my guy give you a call. We'll wrap it up. Okay. But then the buyer, they start backpedaling because they realize where they're at. And to do the backpedal, what the buyer does in this situation is they start getting buddy-buddy with Grant. They start complimenting him and his passion and his commitment, and they start praising him. Now, here's where an average closer would falter because they would get stuck on the compliments. I mean, who doesn't like getting complimented, right? Raise your hand if you like getting complimented, okay? Who doesn't like that? So while Grant hears it and he acknowledges it, he doesn't allow it to take him off course. Follow? He responds with, let's do it, okay? Can I count on you to get started now? So Grant leverages his altitude, not his status. It's a big difference between status and altitude. He leverages his altitude, not his status, and the buyer agrees. Can I count on you to get started now? Yes. Okay. Grant praises him immediately. Hey, you're the man. And he wraps up the call. And let's just wrap up, right? You just learned from Grant Cardone how to close a deal on the phone in 4 minutes. What were the key points? Let's break them down one more time, okay? Speed is power, okay? The 4 elements of a great opening call: 5-second greeting, get permission to talk, put a timestamp on this deal, okay? And then state your reason for the call. Get to the point, okay? Second thing, the number one rule is selling on the phone, in person, anytime, any place, anywhere. Always, always, always agree. Number 2, phone sales rule number 2, listen more than you talk. Phone sales rule number 3, summarize and validate. Phone sales rule number 4, do the math. And phone sales rule number 5, ask for the business. Go for the close, okay? Now it's your turn. I want you to go back and I want you to watch this video. Do it for yourself. Watch it for yourself, okay? What can you pull from it that you can add to this, that you can add to your own closing techniques on the phone? What did you learn specifically about how to close any deal? Did you find something that you're not doing that you can do moving forward? More importantly, how are you going to make sure this stuff sticks? Well, the first thing you can do is, as I mentioned earlier, we got this phones and communication workshop coming up. You can head on over to cardonesolutions.com/phone workshop for more information on that. That's in Miami. So if you can't make it out to Miami, then plan B would be to get yourself on Cardone University like right away. Stat! ASAP. Immediately. Okay? Why? Well, there's 2 weeks for free. Okay, so if you've got some phone skills you want to tighten up, Cardone University would be a great place to do that, and you get 2 weeks for free. So why wouldn't you, right? Unless you don't have the time or the attention. But could you squeeze 15 minutes a day first thing in the morning to tighten up your phone skills or any other sales skill you feel like you could use a little tightening up on? Of course you could. You don't find that time, you make it, okay? And it's free. It won't cost you anything. So, third thing though, practice daily. So if you do nothing else but watch this video and come up with some word tracks that you can use on your own, if you're not drilling these and working them out with a partner, then you will never remember them when it comes time to use them. Okay? The great Barrett Tillman said, under pressure, you will not rise to the occasion, rather you will sink to the level of your training. So if you're not training on this, you're not dialing it in, when it comes time to use it, it won't be there. It'll be stuck in some recess of your mind and you won't be able to recall it quickly enough, because when emotion goes up, intelligence goes down. It's true. Unless it's been drilled into you that you don't have to think about it. It just pops up, okay? So you got to train on it, you got to practice it, you got to role play it, you got to drill it down. Now, to get access to Cardone University, I almost forgot that part, cardonesolutions.com/CardoneU free. That's cardonesolutions.com/Cardone, the letter U, the word free. If I can help, hit me up, 310-777-0352, or shoot an email out, david@grantcardone.com. I'm going to leave you with the words of Grant Cardone, which is be great, because nothing else pays. Have an awesome week.